In this video, I'll be installing a power switch on my furnace. And just a disclaimer, I am not an electrician, so if you are, and you see something that I could have done differently, please let me know what that is in the comments below. And one more thing. This furnace that I'm going to be showing you this on is not in operation, it's not installed in a house, it's literally just sitting in my garage and I use it for my videos. In fact, I don't even have it hooked up to a breaker, I have it wired up to a plug. If you're interested how I did that, I do have a video where I show how I hooked this plug up to the furnace. If you're interested, check it out. The reason I'm putting in a power switch on my furnace is simply for convenience purposes. It's just really easy to flip the switch on and off as needed as you're troubleshooting something on the unit. So without further delay, let's just jump right in and get it done. Okay, so my power cord goes right into this box right over here. So I'm gonna have to take this little cover plate off and then just take apart all my wiring. And of course my power is off. I have the furnace unplugged, so we can safely proceed with taking all the wires out. I got the cable secured in place with the clamp connector, so I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that so I can slide it out. And I may as well just take out this connector while I'm at it. There's a little lock nut on the inside. That's what's used to secure it in place. I'm gonna set this aside for now, but I will be reusing it later. This is the junction box that I'm gonna be using, and it came with a little ground wire pigtail, which is really convenient. I'm gonna screw that pigtail in here, and then connect the ground from the cable to the other end. As for the knockouts, I think I'm gonna take this one out, put the cable in through here, and then go in through the center in the middle right here. I'm gonna use one of these plastic cable connectors to protect my wires going in. Here's what it looks like with the connector in, and now I can go ahead and screw down the box to the furnace cabinet body. Okay, that's on there really good. I could probably even sit on it and it's not gonna rip off. And I see something wrong here. Can you see what it is? Before I install my switch, I'm gonna go ahead and route these wires through just so that they're ready on the other side. And actually, we don't need the common out here. We can go ahead and leave this inside the furnace. Next, I'm gonna put in my clamp connector on this side. That's where my cable is gonna be going in. Secure the lock nut in place. Now that the connector is in, I can slide my wires under the clamp and get them nice and secure. Before I put the switch in, I think right now would be a good time to screw down the ground wire. And then the common wire coming from our power source can go inside the furnace as well. I'm gonna wire nut the grounds together. And then we can proceed to the switch. And here is our switch. This time I'm gonna make sure I'm not putting it in upside down. We got on right there, off right here, perfect. So I'm gonna put it in like this. So we're gonna go ahead and attach our two black wires on either side of the switch. So the power coming in goes on one side, and then the power going to the furnace goes on the other side. And it doesn't matter which wire goes on which side. I'm gonna make a little hook out of this stranded wire. And we want this hook to be facing in the direction that you're gonna be screwing the screw in. So since I'm gonna be screwing it clockwise, I want it this way, not the other way around. That way, as I'm screwing it down, it's getting tightened instead of pushing the wires back out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on the same way on the other side. So what do you think of the finished result? If you think it looks pretty bad, I agree. This does look bad. This is how loose connections are made. Because stranded wire, it does not go very well under screws. With solid copper wires, this works great to bend them into a hook and put them under the screw. But with stranded wire, it's better to put on a connector, so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm sure you'll agree, this looks much better. But if for some reason you still have to use the stranded wire without a connector, let me give you a little tip of how you could make it look like this instead of like this. The best way to do this is to simply snip the end off and start over. Strip about 1/2 inch of the wire off so that we have some nice fresh wire to work with, and then simply pinch the end of the wires and twist. There, that looks a lot better than when the strands are just all over the place, and you can make a hook with it much easier, and there's less chances that the strands are going to go everywhere once you start tightening the screw. And to make sure that nothing metal accidentally touches these screws and shorts something out, I'm also going to add some electrical tape all around, and that'll be a nice finishing touch. Alright, looks pretty good. Now all we gotta do is install the switch onto the box, and we are good to go. And last but not least, let's put on the cover plate. They do sell red ones, specifically for furnaces and boilers, that say something like emergency off on, or gas heater on off switch, or disconnect. I decided not to be that fancy for my garage furnace, but just so you know, those covers are out there. If you're doing this for your house for some reason, then you probably could get one of those red ones just to give it a nice finishing touch. And last but not least, we have to hook up the 2 common wires. I probably could have given myself a little more slack on the wire here, but this will have to do. And I know that some people say that the junction box outside needs to be grounded to this ground screw over here. I really don't think that is necessary because I have this box screwed in. So basically the furnace cabinet, this box, and this box are all interconnected now. So really I just need to ground one of them to ground all of them. But if we have any electricians watching and you disagree, please let me know and I will stand corrected. Now that I finished everything up, the last thing we gotta do is check and make sure that everything turns on okay. All right, we got the LED on right there. That means we have power going to our transformer and it's coming into the control board. That means the furnace is powered on and everything is good. I don't have any gas hooked up to this furnace, so that's as far as my testing goes. And that is all I had. But before you go, let me tell you a dad joke. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. And what do you call a cow with 2 legs? Lean beef.